Alright, gonna keep this late night recording session going into the final part of Sonic Blast. It's time for Blue Marine Zone, and this was the level that I was referring to a little bit in the last part that I really don't like because it's just a pain to get through. You can't go where you want to without Sonic being swept away in the water. Then you got all these tube mazes that make no sense, and I actually had to look up a walkthrough just to figure out where I was supposed to go. But once I figured out all that, it made it a lot easier to get through the final part of the game. But yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out where you're supposed to go and what to do, and oddly enough, it's even more tricky when you're playing as Knuckles. Knuckles is pretty much the hard mode of the game, though. And I just don't like listening to this loop. I don't like the music here very well. It started grating on my ears a little bit after a bit. And the controls just don't work the physics and controls just don't mesh very well for an underwater level on a Game Gear Sonic title, especially not this. But I'm gonna keep it going, and that's gonna do it for the first act. Man, I really wasn't expecting to be as tired as I am. I slept like 13 hours last night, and so I don't know how I'm as tired as I am, but it is late, and I just keep rolling, and after this is done, I can probably get me a good night's rest. Not like I need it. Whoa. Sonic looks silly just being swept away in the water like that. Need plenty of air bubbles for this level. I would say Act 2 is a lot worse than Act 1 when it comes to not knowing where to go. But like I said, that walkthrough really helped me. I don't know what video I watched, but thank you to whoever did that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to record this. Originally, I was dreading recording this game just because I didn't really know what to do. Kind of in that stretch now where I'm in the recording through the first dark ages of Sonic, where Sonic Extreme had been cancelled, and the best that Sega was willing to give us was this and Sonic quote-unquote 3D Blast. Which Sonic 3D Blast is a fine enough game. It's a lot better than this. Whoa! I'm still going the right way, I think. As far as I know. I just recorded it one level at a time and pieced it all together. At least for this zone and the final zone. But this one keeps along with the trend of naming all the levels colored themes like blue, red, green, and yellow. I'd say that also has something to do with the Chaos Emeralds. And there's a special stage ring that I just passed, but I don't know how to get down there, and it's not really worth it. Alright, more tubular action here. I'm just about through it, I think. Whoa! Alright. I better, ah, man. Thought I was gonna stick the landing. My bad. And go through this tube here. Get that checkpoint. I'm not really sure what those switches are. There's sometimes in the boss act and sometimes in other acts there'll be like a switch on the wall. My god, that semi's loud. Something wrong with it? There's just a really loud semi driving by, and I think it's even gonna pick up on the mic. God, get on down the highway already, Haas. Thank you. Anyways. Nah, man, there's no countdown music either, so that's lame. gotten so used to the countdown music when Sonic's about to drown. Plus, that was my alarm clock alarm for a hot minute. It was always so loud and urgent that it always scared me awake. It did its job, though. But yeah, cool. I got those tricky, treacherous mazes out of the way. And now I can make my way to the Blue Marine Zone boss. Let's see how this goes. Now, the third act here isn't as big of a pain to get through as the first two, so that's definitely a positive. Just gotta keep making my way uptown. Okay, now I'm back in the water. And where do I go? Okay, here we go. Cool. Not sure what that wall is. It looks like it's spiky. I don't want to find out. Get swept away again, and now it's boss battle time. Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum. And then, as typical, you just gotta bonk him a few times. Aw, man, that shouldn't have counted. Bonk. Now, when he stops, yeah, you gotta wait for him to stop, otherwise he won't fire his laser. But when he fires it towards you when you're on the ground, is when you get your air bubbles. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, oh, countdown's back. Probably want to wait for him to come back through. Cool. Okay, cool. Sometimes I just bounce over him, which is ridiculous. God, man, I just want to land a hit. And it's not going to happen this time either. Give it another try here. Maybe. Yeah, wait for him to quit moving back and forth. Yeah, I'm getting another air bubble. Okay, yeah, cool. I was able to get him that time. But yeah, this is just a very slow, sluggish kind of game compared to a lot of the Sonic games that came before it. But cool, that's the last bonk, and that's gonna do it for the Big Bad Doctor. Now gonna keep on chugging along to the final zone. Not quite 100,000 points yet. I wonder if I end it with 100,000 points. But now it's time for the Silver Castle. You got these platforms here. You want to wait for those all to light up. And then you got these confusing teleportation things that you gotta know which ones to jump on, so you can get to the end of the act. Teleportation, yeah! Keep on going, though. Not a big fan of some of the enemies in this level. I don't much care for those because they are hard to land a hit with without getting hit. Just grab a couple of rings. Then you got these spike walls that chase you down if you're not careful. There's a few sections like that in this zone. But as far as the obnoxious teleporters, this is really the worst offender out of the two acts. But cool, I got an extra life. Always nice to get one of those. And hey, I do get 100,000 points, so there's another extra life. I'm probably gonna need them. Look, go. Right, want to look out for that thing. Looks like some kind of teapot or something almost. That's what it reminds me of. Definitely need some ringage. Look out for those laser things. You got these platforms here that kind of kind of like a sticky slowdown platform. Alright. Whichever way the spike wall is. Okay. Here we go. Here we go! Ah, man. If I can make it through here, that would be great. Okay. Just wanted to wait for that thing to get out of the way. Definitely need those. And yeah. Oh man, I'm ready to crawl into bed though. Even after such a long sleep last night. Sometimes all I want to do is sleep. It's never enough sleep for me. I can set alarms sometimes and it not be enough, and I'm just like, I'm going back to bed. Maybe it's a little bit of the mental health struggles, and just sometimes I just struggle a bit. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed, especially if you don't have much to do. It's hard to find the motivation to do stuff. And that's why sometimes I struggle to consistently make Let's Plays. Sometimes I feel like I'm probably reaching the end of my Let's Play tenure. But if I can keep this going for a little longer, I'll record a few more games. It's not that big of a deal. And just spin my way through this section. And yeah, cool, that's gonna do it for... And there's a supersonic there. I think I got another extra life as a result of the supersonic, but don't quote me on that. But anyways, folks, it's time for Silver Castle Zone Act 3, which means this will be the final level of the game, and will be the final boss battle. You can pretty much teleport right to it. Now, keeping in mind this is not the final boss, as I didn't get all the emeralds, but close enough. And this one's actually kind of an easy battle, too. You just gotta spin the wheel and make sure that the platform is right where Eggman can hit it, so it can shoot his lasers right back at him. And bonk. And it's pretty much just another case of, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? But if you don't land the... if you don't spin the wheel in time, Sonic could get hit. And that's never a good time. And you're pretty much stuck in this little field too. You can't just jump up and jump on the Eggman. See, there's little squares that keep you from going any higher. And it should be getting pretty close to that last hit. No, not yet. I would say the boss theme is probably the best song in the whole game. This is gonna make my treadmill playlist. I got a good feeling about that. Alright, cool. Cool, that's gonna do it for Dr. Eggman. Now that's gonna do it for Sonic Blast. Excellent. And my final score is 120,400 points. That's a big number. Oh, so we were on the Death Egg this whole time. Well, it looks like the Death Egg's been stopped once again, folks. The scene looks very Donkey Kong Country-esque. Not that that's a bad thing. Which Donkey Kong Country 3 is going to be one of my upcoming Let's Plays, so keep an eye out for that, folks. And yeah, that's Sonic Blast. Certainly not the best Sonic game. Some would say it's the worst. Me personally, I'd give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It's middle of the road. It's not something I'm chomping at the bit to play again in the near future. I'm gonna let those credits scroll as always. Like I always say, gotta give credit where credit is due. Oh man, a big stretch. You can't see it, but I'm just over here yawning and stretching and probably take my vitamins and get ready for a good snooze. And this game maybe this game was putting me to sleep. Who knows? All I know is that's the end, folks. And this has been Fromark, as always, and I will see you in whatever it is I do next. See you then.